Nta Ch10, station for excellence.
The children are our future, so it's crucial we communicate with them on Family Talk with Lamide. Join us on Family Talk with Lamide as motivational TV personality. Lamide Adenuga delivers leadership and human capacity development content to our future leaders within and outside Nigeria. We also tackle social ills like bullying, drug abuse, peer pressure, depression, internet fraud, and many more. Family Talk with Lamide. It's all about us. Now showing on Family Talk with Lamide. Family Talk with Lamide.
The program is In and Around.
In and Around is an educative and enlightenment program that showcases lifestyle, arts, music, culture, and anything of unique interest. Watch In and Around. Don't miss it.
Watching NTA, Nigerian Television Authority. For more information and news updates, visit our website at www.nta.ng, or you can follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or you can like us on Facebook at NTA Network News. Stay connected on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our live stream at www.nta.ng/live. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
The book Still Standing is an inspiring story of a woman's battle with sickle cell anemia for over 5 decades. Written by Toyin Adesola, a graduate of economics. Her flair for writing has allowed her to share her experiences and how she has overcome the many challenges resulting from the disease.
The essence of the book was to inspire people that, look, you can go through challenges, but with certain things that you have purpose, you have your network of people support, a good support system, you can live a positive life regardless of whatever challenges. And then also to tell people that, look, you don't bottle your issues in, which is what I used to do earlier on in my life until I started writing in the journal. It's when you bottle the issues in that it becomes to affect you mentally and then ultimately physically.
Some of the various chapters of the book includes Chapter 1, Is Something Wrong? Chapter 2, Why Me? And many more. But Chapter 3, titled Crossroads, is the most interesting.
Chapter 3 is when it goes into really how I went through the challenges, my suicide, my attempts, my hospital admissions, my bedridden issues and all that stuff. So it's definitely Chapter 3.
The climax of the book is in Chapter 5, where the author faces a turnaround and also embraced her challenges, believing that with faith in God, it is possible to do anything you set your mind on. The book Still Standing is written in simple language and very easy to comprehend by the readers.
On the news tonight, Lagos State Commissioner of Police visits sites of collapsed building, promises to support the state government to get to the root cause of the unfortunate incident. Plus, stakeholders advocate for the need to reposition the media as a positive agent of peaceful coexistence. A very good evening to you, and it's good to have you join us on News at 7 on Nta Lagos Channel 10. I am Hanuluapo Oluwatoki. The Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Idowu Owonwa, says the force is giving Lagos State government the support required to get to the root cause of the building collapse so as to prevent a reoccurrence. He spoke to NTA after assessing the situation at the site of the Wednesday collapsed building at Banana Island, Ikoyi, Etiosa local government area of Lagos State. Joy Ken Abakbuya has the details.
For more than 24 hours, emergency response agents have been on ground monitoring, excavating and evacuating the remains of the 7-story building that collapsed Wednesday evening. The Commissioner of Police, Lagos State Police Command, who described the incident as unfortunate, went round to see the level of damage done. He assured that his men will remain on ground to ensure protection for the emergency response team.
If we say something is a natural disaster, that is what it is. It will happen. The issue is what is the response plan towards such. And I think Lagos State can boast of having the best in this country in terms of responding to such situations, and that is exactly what has played out in this instance. So sad, but I think the Lagos State, all the emergency response teams have coordinated effectively well with the police and other security agencies to promptly respond, save lives, and then take charge of the actual situation.
So far, 7 persons with varying degrees of injury have been rescued, with no deaths recorded.
We carried out holistic probing with our DELSA. When we use the DELSA, the purpose of the DELSA is to check whether anybody is under the rubble. There is nobody under the rubble. 7 that while rescue were treated on the ground by our ambulance services. 1 was referred to hospital where he is receiving adequate treatment.
While no specific cause of the incident has been identified, the Permanent Secretary, Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, says thorough investigations and integrity tests on the collapsed building, which was still under construction, and others around it will be carried out. In Lagos, Joy Ken Abakbuya, NTA News.
In the same vein, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, is not oblivious of the plight of families of personnel who paid the supreme price while on active duty. This was evident at the presentation of checks to 70 families of fallen heroes in Lagos. Lynn Neleke reports that the Commissioner, Lagos State Command, handed over the checks to the beneficiaries.
These personnel have over time ensured that lives and property of the citizenry is protected across the country. With the highest number of police personnel population in the force, saddled with the responsibility of dealing with complex crimes in Lagos and beyond, some of these personnel have paid the supreme price, laying down their lives, while others are bearing various degrees of injuries sustained in the discharge of their constitutional role. These sacrifices have not gone unnoticed. 78 checks to the tune of 28 million naira were presented to families and next of kin to deceased police officers.
It will help my children in school. And the place you are living, at least you can put some things in order.
Commitment as a critical component of the police was also appreciated as 36 senior officers were decorated.
Welfare and promotion scheme represents a critical component of the agenda and the leadership vision of the Inspector General of Police. He has been consistent in ensuring that officers are put forward for promotion as at when due.
This will make us to redouble our efforts, that citizens will be able to close their two eyes and sleep.
Meanwhile, the Lagos Commissioner of Police have also assured residents of Isheri community where disputes erupted of their safety. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
Away from police, when disputes between litigants come before a judge for adjudication, all parties to the case are normally expectant that justice will be dispensed impartially. However, when judicial decisions are perceived as below expectation, it raises questions about how well the courts are knowledgeable about the issues in disputes. Olabode Arewa tells us more.
A situation identified as one of the reasons for what is sometimes seen as unfriendly judicial pronouncements is when judgments purportedly go against public opinion. Now, legal practitioners and law enforcement officers have identified poor legal research on the part of courts as a constitutive factor for this.
So whenever you're doing research and in any area of law, of course, as researchers, you have to give the updated judgment. It's not 1960 judgment. So when you search this software, it gives you the most recent judgment.
In the continued efforts at improving the capacity of judicial research assistants to optimally deliver on their assigned duties, these research assistants are familiarizing themselves with current approaches courtesy of the support of the National Judicial Council.
Appropriate technology will enable our courts to render speedier and more efficient and effective and efficient justice and thereby earn confidence. This earned confidence will empower and enable court to preserve and protect democratic values and freedoms.
With all that is loaded in a computer, all the judgments of Supreme Court, all the laws of the Federation, they are brought in mobile library into the room and the desk of every judge. So the judgments is going to be more qualitative and be written within shorter time.
Going forward, the judiciary expressed that the knowledge impacted on these judicial aids would manifest in the quality of the support they give to judges and justices manning the nation's courts. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
The Nigeria media's position as an influencer of public opinion cannot be overemphasized, owing to its ability to set agenda for national discourse and capacity to push narratives that can engender peaceful coexistence. With its level of importance, it therefore behoves on journalists to be circumspect in the issues they disseminate for public consumption. This sums up the parley between the National Orientation Agency and media outfits in Lagos State. Lanre Billy has details.
Of the various political parties to allow the legal processes to run their full course.
The engagements led by the Director General of the agency, Mr. Garba Abari, touched on the roles the media must play in reining in wild notions, especially those emanating from the just concluded general elections.
So many national and international naysayers had already started putting in place a national obituary for the Nigerian nation state. Some already calling the 2023 elections an election that will mark the country. Nigerians proved such naysayers wrong.
The head of the nation's orientation agency urged the media to be mindful of the narrative being pursued and stick with ideals that will promote peace, unity, and stability of the nation. Covering the 8th speech on social media, ethnocentrism,
on the broadcasting stations, unrestrained political utterances, and inciting write-ups were discussed in an interactive session. The National Orientation Agency called on the media not to engage in magnifying narratives that will divide the nation, but the ones that will build bridges across the different divides. This type of engagement, the head of the agency promised to take to the doorsteps of traditional groups and rulers. The theme of the discussion is Nigeria First. In Lagos, Larry Beleyi, NTA News.
You're still watching News at 7 on NTA Lagos Channel 10. We'll be back after this timeout. Please don't go away.
It's Maltonic time. Maltonic tonic. It's nourishing to the last drop. Cherry frenzy. It's good for me and you.
Maltonic is enriched with vitamins and minerals for that rush of vitality you need to reach greatness.
It's Maltonic time.
You're welcome back. You're still watching News at 7 on NTA Lagos Channel 10. Like an unhealing soul, fuel subsidy in Nigeria has evaded several attempts at its removal. Not anymore. So it appears as the federal government takes a definite stand to cut ties with subsidy considered a conduit for draining the nation's commonwealth. Over now to Onengie Fine Face with the second report in our series on the fuel subsidy narrative in Nigeria.
For every litre of petrol one buys, the federal government pays a portion of the price. In Nigeria, petrol is bought at a price much lower than the actual market price. This enables the federal government to regulate or fix pump price for petrol. The portion of money paid by the federal government for every litre of petrol bought is what is commonly known as fuel subsidy. If subsidy is removed, the cost of petrol will be determined by market forces. Governments can no longer fix the price of fuel, which in actual sense is part of the recommended steps of the nation's historic Petroleum Industry Act, the PIA. Fuel subsidy in Nigeria dates back to the 1970s, following the oil shock of 1973, which spiked the price of oil in the international market. In 2011, Nigeria spent more than 2 trillion naira on fuel subsidy. The figure almost doubled to 4.39 trillion naira in 2022. Despite the huge sums paid as subsidy, fuel prices remain unstable. Nigerians continue to lament the enrichment of a few individuals, the cabal, if you may. The popular demand remains: remove fuel subsidy.
So by the time it liberalizes, where every dealer have the right and the potential to import the product and equally sell at its own capacity. Purchasers too, at the end angle, can equally decide to buy whatever angle they want to buy at any price. It will equally affect the price mechanism. But when you sell your own for 150 and the other man sells for 200, the other man sells for 90 naira, I will prefer buying from the man of 90 naira.
Successive administrations have attempted to stop the subsidy payment. They failed. In January 2012, the Goodluck Jonathan administration came close to removing fuel subsidy. A major protest followed, and subsidy payments continued. At last, the current administration is daring what had seemed almost impossible. June 2023 is pegged to say good riddance to fuel subsidy in Nigeria.
This is a commitment in the Petroleum Industry Bill. There's a provision that says that 18 months after the effectiveness of the PIA, that all petroleum products must be deregulated. That 18 months takes us to June 2023.
To cushion the likely initial effect, a World Bank loan of $800 million is secured. It will provide palliatives to 50 million Nigerians in 10 million households.
Because if people are given a little money, okay, this is the immediate direct fine, that will be in order. But the important thing that needs to happen is that that subsidy must go. and it's for us to have a holistic perspective. It's impacting negatively on manufacturing because it's competing for the same funds, the same forex, every other thing that requires foreign exchange. The bulk of it is being taken by this subsidy because the fuel is imported.
And as much as the expenses of a worker relates to his salary, I think something should be done about it. Something should be done about their augmenting their salaries in order for them to cope with the removal of the subsidy.
Experts in the energy sector and even those not so lettered are for once unanimous and hopeful. Will the switch to subsidizing the rich to the not so well off achieve its goal? Time, only time will tell. Onengie Fine Face, Nta News.
Away from fuel subsidy, as Muslim worldwide continues the last 10 days of Ramadan obligation, and in order to fulfill the annual activity of fasting, the Unified Local Government Muslim Staff Association Lagos State has held its 14th Ramadan lecture. Correspondent report that the event took place at Orile Agege Local Council Development Area Secretariat at Agege. The report. The Ramadan lecture started with reading from the Holy Quran. The General Amir, who was represented by the Chairman Ramadan Planning Committee, Saba Babatunde Idris, said Muslim Ummah must emulate all that have been learned during Ramadan and continue likewise after the 30 days fasting. He said these will definitely promote love, unity and piety in the country.
The most important thing is that we comport ourselves, maintain discipline and go according to the will of Allah in the month of Ramadan. It's a learning time. I wish we all take the learning of this period beyond the Ramadan season.
Islamic scholars who spoke in Yoruba language admonished public office holders and the workers in Lagos and Nigeria to always keep to their promises, as we shall face the consequences of unkept promises.
Islam is based on peaceful existence, so everybody should be at peace. Islam is the religion of peace and total submission to the will of Almighty Allah. So, and that peace, we should be preaching it wherever we are. In our offices, in your relationship with people, and within your community.
Change to the ways of Allah so that things can be more better for us. If it's better, it is for our own benefit. So it's better for us to change our ways, to love our neighbors, whether Christians or Muslims, as ourselves.
The theme for this year's 14th annual Ramadan lecture by the Unified Local Government Muslim Staff Association, Lagos State is, which of your favor, O Lord, will we deny? In Lagos, Nta Ch10 7Pm, Nta News. And on that note, we wrap up the news at 7 on Nta Lagos Channel 10. The Yoruba translation of the news comes up shortly after the timeout. With Benga Oloyede, I am Hanoluwapo Oluwatoki. Good evening.
ẹ kú àṣálẹ́ ẹ sì kú dédé àsìkò yìí àkójọpọ̀ ìròyìn ló ń dé sétí ìgbọ̀yìn láti iléeṣẹ́ amóhùnmáwòrán ìjọba àpapọ̀ tó wà ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó. Gbénga Olóyèdè ni oníròyìn, ìròyìn rèé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́. Gíwá àwọn ọlọ́pàá orílẹ̀-èdè yìí Usman Akali Baba nínú ìwà àìgbàgbé ìpọ́njú tàwọn ẹbí àwọn ènìyàn tí wọ́n jọ̀wọ́ iṣẹ́ ṣíṣe tó ga jùlọ ní àsìkò tí wọ́n wà lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ wọn tí wọ́n yàn láàyò. èyí ló jẹ́ àrídájú àpẹẹrẹ rere tí wọ́n fi hàn nípa gbígbé ìwé sọ̀wédowó lé àwọn ẹbí méjìdínlọ́gọ́rùn-ún tàwọn akọni tó ṣubú lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n yàn láàyò tó wáyé ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó. Akọ̀ròyìn wa Nínìkè tó mú ìròyìn wá sọ wípé kọmíṣánná àwọn ọlọ́pàá ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó ló gbé ìwé sọ̀wédowó ọ̀hún lé àwọn ẹbí tí wọ́n jẹ nínú àǹfààní náà ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó. Kọmíṣánná àwọn ọlọ́pàá ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó ọ̀gbẹ́ni Ìdòwú Owóhùnwà sọ wípé àjọ àwọn wọnọwọ́ kíkín ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó lẹ́yìn ìrànlọ́wọ́ tó yẹ láti ṣàwárí ohun tó ṣokùnfà ilé alájà méje tó dàwó lulẹ̀ àti láti dáàbò bo ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ilé wíwó òmíràn tó lè ṣẹ̀wá lọ́jọ́ iwájú. Kọmíṣánná àwọn ọlọ́pàá ọ̀hún ló bá iléeṣẹ́ amóhùnmáwòrán ìjọba àpapọ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ lórí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ilé alájà méje tó dàwó lulẹ̀ ní agbègbè Banana Island tó wà ní Ìkòyí ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó ní ọjọ́rú Wednesday. Akọ̀ròyìn wa Joyken Abọ́pẹ́ tó mú ìròyìn wá sọ wípé ó tó wákàtí 24 tí àwọn àjọ tó mójútó ìpè pàjáwìrì fi wà nínú àjálẹ̀ fún ìbójúwo yíyọ kúrò àwọn ohun èlò ilé tó wà nínú àjálẹ̀ alájà méje ọ̀hún èyí tó wó lulẹ̀ ní ọjọ́rú Wednesday. Kọmíṣánná àwọn ọlọ́pàá tó ṣe àpèjúwe ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ láabi ọ̀hún gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ tó ṣe ní láàánú púpọ̀ lórí àdánù tó ṣẹ̀wá nínú àjálù ilé wíwó náà. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ló túbọ̀ fọwọ́ sọ̀yà wípé àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá yóò túbọ̀ mú ìdúró wọn láti lè dáàbò bo àwọn àjọ tó ń mójútó ìpè pàjáwìrì níbi agbami ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ náà. Láì fi ọ̀pá pọ̀lọpọ̀lọ péjò, ènìyàn méje ni wọ́n ti du ẹ̀mí wọn là kúrò nínú àjálẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ìfarapa lónírúurú tí kò sì mú ikú dání. Bí ó tilẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ní àsìkò tí wọ́n ṣe àkójọpọ̀ ìròyìn náà kò tíì sí àrídájú kan pàtó lórí ohun tó ṣokùnfà ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ilé tó dàwó ọ̀hún. Akọ̀wé àgbà sí ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó ní ẹ̀ka tó mójútó ìpè pàjáwìrì sọ wípé látàrí ọ̀pọ̀ ìṣèwádìí àti àwọn àyẹ̀wò tí wọ́n gbé jáde lórí ilé tó dàwó lulẹ̀ náà èyí tó sì wà ní ipò ìdáwọ́lé iṣẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àti àwọn ìyókù ilé tó ń bẹ ní agbègbè náà ni wọ́n sọ wípé wọn yóò gbé òṣùwọ̀n àyẹ̀wò lé lórí. Bí egbò àdá ìjìnà ni yíyọ ìrànwọ́ epo pẹntiró jẹ́ ní orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà lẹ́yìn ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yíyẹra fún ìgbésẹ̀ láti yọ ìrànwọ́ epo ọ̀hún. Bí wípé kò jọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́ tàbí bẹ́ẹ̀ lórí ni ìjọba àpapọ̀ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí fi mú ìdúró wọn láti gé kúrò ìrànwọ́ epo pẹntiró tí a bá ní kàkà bójúbo àwọn ìwà ìmúgbẹ tí ó ti fà fún àjọ ní àwọn orílẹ̀-èdè àgbáyé. Akọ̀ròyìn wa Oyegine Fineface tó ṣe àkójọpọ̀ ìròyìn ọ̀hún yọ̀yọ̀nà ọlọ́kanòjọ̀kan àbálọ àti àbábọ̀ àkọsílẹ̀ méní méjì ẹ̀tàǹtagbá ìgbésẹ̀ láìlóǹkà lórí yíyan ìrànwọ́ epo pẹtiró ọ̀hún ní orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà. Bí àwọn múmìnì àgbáyé ṣe ń tẹ̀síwájú ìyókù ọjọ́ mẹ́wàá oṣù àwẹ̀ Ramadan tó jẹ́ ọ̀kan nínú ọ̀ranyàn àti ìlànà mímú ẹ̀jẹ́ gbígba àwẹ̀ ọlọ́dọọdún ṣẹ, ìṣọ̀kan tàwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ múmìnì òdodo tìpínlẹ̀ Èkó ti ṣe ètò ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ìkẹrìnlá oṣù àwẹ̀ Ramadan. Ètò ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ọ̀hún ló wáyé ní ìjọba ìdàgbàsókè orílẹ̀ Agége. Bó ṣe lọ rèé ní èdè àbínibí ẹ̀jẹ̀ àgbọ̀.
Ká bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run Ọba wa ní kọ̀rọ̀, ká bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run Ọba wa ní gbangba. Àwọn tí wọ́n bá dẹ̀ ń jẹ́ olórí wa ká gbìyànjú láti mọ gbọ́rọ̀ tí wọ́n lẹ́nu kí wá sì mọ rí pé à ń tẹ̀lé àṣẹ wọn nígbà tán bá ti pàṣẹ ká ṣe Ọlọ́run Ọba wa. Bẹ́ẹ̀ náà làwọn tá a bá ń jẹ́ aráàlú náà kí á gbọ́rọ̀ sí wọn lẹ́nu bá ti sọ yìí. Káwọn tó wá jẹ́ olórí náà káwọn náà fún àwọn aráàlú kán mọ ojúṣe wọn pẹ̀lú wọn, ká mójútó ọ̀rọ̀ alẹ́ ayé wọn, ká dẹ̀ mójútó ọ̀rọ̀ àlùkìyámọ̀ wọn náà gẹ́gẹ́ bá ṣe sọ fúnra wa níbi ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́.
Àwọn wà káàkiri àgbáyé náà ni pé ká lo opportunity tí a rí, so it's a real opportunity for us, so ká lò dáadáa. Àwọn tá a jọ pàtó tó lọ tí wọn ò sí láyé lọ́dún yìí ká wá lékún ládùúrà, ká bẹ lọ́run fún orílẹ̀-èdè wa, ká bẹ lọ́run fún gbèsè ayé wa, torí pé Nàìjíríà ọ̀rọ̀ wa nídìí ìbẹ́lọ́run tó pọ̀. Ní tí ń ṣẹlẹ̀ sáwọn èèyàn nílùú mi tí fi ń parẹ́, Ọlọ́run sì ń gbé wa fòru tí ò sí wàhálà kankan. Ká lo opportunity àsìkò gbígbàdúrà yìí, pàtàkì jùlọ mẹ́wàá tó kàn tọ́jà yìí pé ibẹ̀ gan ni jókà Ramadan wà, kọ́lọ́n balẹ̀ kẹlá kó fi àsìkò ń gé àná rẹ̀.
tọ̀ kò sọ́jọ́ ta sùn ta jí tí ò rẹ ni ọpọlọ ọmọdún ànídáràn Gbẹ̀ngà Olóyèdè nkìyín ìrẹ̀ o.
Of the people, Nta Lagos Channel 10 for information and education, for all-round entertainment, for quality programs. So Nta Lagos Channel 10, oh yeah, carry the go, oh yeah, carry the go. For children and family programs, Nta Lagos Channel 10, where they entertain the people, all the people them. For the latest news and sports, Nta Lagos Channel 10, for clear signal, where they waka far. Now we be the medium, we go help you sell your market. All round entertainment, oh, for everybody.